the Paris negotiations. So people that are actually in talking to the politicians, yeah, but there's so much I could tell you, but I guess I don't know what you'd like to know. So if there's anyone has questions, try and
okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we finally got it. Unfortunately, let me see if I can get it under my document camera. So look. Hey, Laura, can you hear us? There's Mrs. Sherwood.
We can hear you.
I have had total computer meltdown, so I'm on my iPhone. We'll see how this goes.
Oh, that's awesome. We have a question for your guest, for Zoe. Can you hear me, Laura? Laura? What's that question? What's the question? Zoe, read me the question. I'll type it in the chat. Chloe, should read the question.
Uh-oh, I thought I'd get my...
Why are you what?
Can you guys be quiet for a second so I can hear what I'm doing here?
Okay, I just sent it. Do you see the chat over there? So I just sent Zoe.
Christina's class wanted to know why Zoe is here at the conference.
There we go. Okay.
Sorry, this is so tiny.
She lost her computer. She's using her iPhone.
I said, you guys want to wait? You probably have to be quiet on your end when she's answering the question. That's Ms. Sherwood's left and Ms. Lofton's very big room. So, okay, ready? Hands over your mouths. Okay, Zoe's going to answer the question now. Why is she at the conference?
Okay.
So I guess personally, the reason that I care about climate change is this thing called, well, climate justice. I'm sure you've heard about it being repeated, and that's about how climate change affects so many people, but affects often people that have contributed the least to climate change. So people that are, for example, living on Pacific Islands, indigenous communities, and nations that are poorer, those in the global south. And often those voices are ignored at things like this, conferences like this Paris conference. So a lot of why I came along was because I feel it's really important to hold those decision makers to account and make sure that we can help elevate the voices that need to be heard at this conference. So yeah, just trying to be a part of bringing those voices to the forefront is why I'm here.
We have another question. Can you hear me in Paris?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, Will is going to ask you a question right now. Oh, what was that? What was that? There we go.
How many?
Okay, so here.
How many?
Really loud.
How many environmental meetings have you attended so far in the conference? Which one did you like the best?
Cool. Thanks for that question. So unfortunately, that's the way it works with this conference is that it's really hard to be able to go into the actual negotiations where all of the world leaders are meeting. And with the group that I'm with, the AYCC, Australian Youth Climate Coalition. They've sent only a certain number of people to these negotiations.
No.
We lost power. Oh, okay.
Do you have a question you'd like to ask a student that's in Paris going to that?
That's the high school. Oh, yes, we can.
Sorry, it's hard to know what's going on, but
Okay, the question was why she.
Oh, sorry.
So Christina, can you hear us okay?
Yes, we can. There's a bit of a delay, but we can. So, yeah, so we're wondering about if she's going to go to some classes, even though she can't get in the negotiations. The kids were wondering about what is she learning there.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So today I was actually at, it's what's called the Climate Action Zone, which is where I met these lovely people. And there's heaps of workshops happening there where you can learn about things like climate justice and how to achieve climate justice. And I was really sad because the workshop that I wanted to go to this afternoon was actually cancelled. It was about legal remedies. So obviously I'm studying law, so that's pretty important to me of how we can use the law to address climate change. But there's also lots of really good ones on tomorrow. And I think the best thing about it is that instead of just hearing from people that, you know, in Australia, I get to hear from people around the world with all sorts of different experiences, first experiences. There's other people around the world that are working towards the same thing, and we can learn different tactics and different approaches from other activists around the world, which is what I'm really excited for over the next week.
And Zoe just got here too from Australia, so just got here yesterday?
Yesterday morning, yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm really tired.
I have a
Lois,
question. I have a question. And have you gone to any sessions, or is there, how much discussion is there about ocean acidification?
I haven't seen so much of that yet, but I think, like I said, with this conference, at least on the outside, there's a big focus on sort of as a whole, climate justice as the overarching message, and less focus on individual issues within climate change. But I, for example, back in Australia, I'm sure you know all about the Great Barrier Reef, yeah? And so ocean acidification has been really topical in Australia because of the impact it has on coral reefs. So I can't say I've heard much talk about it here while I've been here, but it's a really big issue that's discussed a lot back in Australia. Campaigns back there.
So any questions from Blue Heron?
Yes, these are student-generated questions. We thought about them last week, so Rowan's going to ask you a question.
What inspired you to stop global warming and climate change?
Awesome. Perfect question. It's something that I think has changed a lot, what inspires me, because I've been involved in working on trying to stop climate change for a long time. You need to sort of constantly be re-inspired in order to keep going with what you do. Originally, the place that you won't know anything about it, but the place that I know, trees stopping climate change, but as I for humans to climate change, so that just the planet that we're trying to save is people, and a really, really inspiring moment that I'll share with you. A really inspiring moment that I can share with you is changing camera angles here. Yeah, a really inspiring moment was when I met a guy from Samoa. Being inundated with sea level rise. So this island could go underwater. This island could go underwater with climate change. And this man was when thank you for sharing. There's real thank right now by climate change. So that's what keeps me going is knowing that we're doing that for the people whose voices aren't being heard. So long answer, but yeah, I tend to tie, so I'm sorry.
Is Sherwood any questions for Zoe?
Okay. Any questions from you guys? No. Okay. I think
No.
at this point
Laura?
we don't have any more questions.
Let's see what Blue Heron got to say. Okay, Blue Heron, you're on.
So, Laura, we're having a little bit of trouble, a lot of trouble. Right when we get Zoe on, then it cuts out, and we're not able to hear the crux of her conversation. So, if you could after this chat, if you would be able to either type in the chat box as she's talking and transcribing what she's saying, or if you could kind of summarize it and put it on your blog so we can access what she's saying later, because she sounds really interesting and we'd like to know more about her.
I also have heard from Eamon Clark that you guys may need to ask for more bandwidth from the IT folks at Port Townsend School District.
Okay, we can do that.
Since I wasn't able to get on at all. Would it be okay if we cut off about now?
Sure. I know you guys have to get back to school, and I'm sure Zoe has plans too. Probably.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Laura, let's try one more question for Zoe, and this is Chloe's going to ask the question, okay?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So, in what ways can we change our lifestyle to help stop climate change that's like reasonable?
Cool. And yeah, another good question. Thanks for that, Chloe. There's so many things, and I know that a lot of the time, at least when I was younger, it gets really overwhelming. It's such a big problem, and you think, what can I do? I'm just one person. But there really are so many things. So there's things just in your own lifestyle, and I'm sure you know about conserving energy and reducing waste, that kind of thing. But I think something that is actually really important is, I know I'm probably just a little bit biased, but actually getting involved in groups that are doing things. Even if, I don't know, do you guys have an environment group at your school or anything like that? Yeah.
Not yet, but we'd have one at the high school, a very successful one at the high school.
Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, so there's heaps of things that you can do individually in terms of just cutting down the amount of energy you use, but yeah, I think it's much more effective when you can be involved with a group of people that care about the same things. Whether you can work to change things in your school, whether it's change the bins at school, I don't know how recycling works at your school, but that kind of thing. I ran a campaign at school to get solar panels on the roof, that kind of thing. And also, I don't know what you might not, none of you guys might not agree with this, but personally for myself, to reduce my impact on climate change, I became vegetarian. So I'm vegetarian. That works for me. I feel like it cuts down my impact. Not a lot of people want to do that, but even just reducing the amount of meat that you eat is a good thing. I know it's hard, you know, being kids, you're not in control of what you're cooked, but that's just one thing that some people can do. But even if you look up if there's any sort of groups in your area that are doing anything, or organizing at your school to see how you can reduce waste, how you can reduce energy, I think there's lots of things that you can do.
Oh gosh, thank you, Zoe. That was really inspirational. Maybe we can do something at our school, since we have a really good leadership group up at our high school that Laura has been very instrumental in getting going. Students for Sustainability. So we also need to sign off now. We're going off to teach some fourth graders how to code. This is the week of coding around the globe. I'm not sure. Around the United States. Anyway, so it was delightful, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. Hopefully we can generate a conversation. Maybe you could give Laura your email and we could continue our conversation.
Yeah.
All right, thanks you guys. And then just a quick suggestion to get a hold of the IT person at the district and see if we can advance.
There's the person who wants to help that right there. Yeah, Matt says hi.
We'll see you soon.
We have dignitaries. We have Charlie from the paper. Ooh. I say goodbye. Sign off.
Bye.
Au revoir. Au revoir to Paris.